Giving a voice to the voiceless, we share the stories behind our freedoms and the ultimate sacrifice of those who protect us all. This is Patriots Inside The Wire.
Beautiful thing to see the family and friends come together and honor his life and his service to our country.
Great to see you guys out here. This is awesome, really.
Welcome to the Patriots Inside The Wire broadcast, hosted by Gold Star Mom, Tracy Two-Step.
Hello. Welcome to the show. You have Mr. Jim McCollum there, and I am Tracy. You're on with Patriots Inside The Wire. We have added a Monday weekly update right now because of all of the things that are going on out there as far as being involved in. So we hope that you've had a good Monday. I used to call it Military Monday, Jim, all the time. And,
Same.
Right? I mean, that was just like a natural thing for me. And now that I kind of move on a different side, we have a lot of the things that we're all working on out there. So today, everybody listen up. If you're in Texas, they started early voting today, and we have a message for you tonight. So we want you to share this. We want you to grab people. Jim's going to let you in on some things that happened. Literally a lot happened, true stuff that has happened. So we would like for you to share this, follow it, and jump into the show. We also will be live on Wednesday with Heather, who runs the Baton March and so many other huge causes out there to help people. And that is why we're called Patriots Inside the Wire. Inside the Wire, safe zone. Patriots is about the people. We believe there is a way to agree, healthy, and still disbelieve in some of the things that we may not all agree on. That's why we're in America. We're in America from our rights to our freedoms. We both have sons. I'll speak for myself. Sergeant Two-Step back there, that's my boy all the way. Very proud, grateful, blessed. Do I want him back? Of course I do. But even more than that, I want you to pay attention to these individuals, the children. I was a child serving for the rights and how important it is to use your voice and speak up, please. You can easily do that by voting. We're not here to sway you. We're here to give you actual information. So we ask you to join us. We ask you to give us the information that you feel is on a different side of that coin. So bipartisan when it comes to legislation. I can also agree on multiple other issues, Jim, rather than just my personal. But tonight on the show, we represent people. And I hope that we are all different because I sure don't want to see a whole lot of the same out there. Do you?
And that is what makes us so beautiful.
You're right.
Diverse people from every walks of life, but with a common goal, a common love of America, a common patriotism. We don't have to agree on everything, but we can still have the conversations. And that's what's so beautiful to me, barring some, but you can still in America have those conversations. You can still talk to people who don't believe that what you believe, come from a completely different background than you and I do, or the experiences that you and I have had, but we can find common ground and commonality and still absolutely support America and our military 100% and our law enforcement. I just had a conversation a couple hours ago before I came home. Very heavily law enforcement influenced conversation. And again, they're much like the military. You get people from every walks of life. But at the end of that conversation, we're all the same people. We all have the same goals. We all want the same thing. And they support me. They support you. And before we came on, I was just telling you, you have a crowd in Wyoming that you don't even know follows So, by the way, all you guys I was just talking to a couple hours ago, like, follow, and subscribe, because you've given me nothing but praise for Tracy. So, let's support her and let's let this get going. It was
And
an
it's
absolute
not just about me.
no.
I'm going to push it back, Jim. It's not just me.
Beautiful. They know, they get the whole picture, and we'll have conversations for a week, and they can't wait to see the next episode because they're so excited with what we bring and what we talk about. So do whatever you can to like, follow, subscribe, and I appreciate all the comments. I appreciate the conversations, but let's make it grow. Let's get this bigger. Tell your family, your friends, your sisters, your cousins, your uncles. I don't care who you tell, but let's
share it.
It's a little bit bigger. Absolutely.
Share it. So Jim, I know that you've been gone. We just want to give everybody a second here because we really want you to tune in. We really want you to share this and get in here and listen. I know you're on Instagram out there. I know you're on the socials, but we're also a broadcast. So we're not just a audio video. We're not going to give you the news that I want to right now, but we'll save that. We also have a big this Wednesday. Again, you don't want to miss what's happening with that in our military. And it's not just military. This is about the Patriots that are out there, a movement and things in an event that they're doing. So, and this is open for a lot of people and not strong enough yet physically to go do what we're going to be talking about Wednesday. So, I am happy to be reporting on it. And I just love the individuals. But for tonight, Jim and I have decided that weekly updates right now on what is going on, because between being, so Gold Star families, active duty service members, I'm only going to refer to Jim and I here because of sons. I don't want to leave out the, but I'm talking about right now. Gold Star families, parents of an active duty, and it's not just for the parents, but active duty service members who are still serving. And I go a step further here. Something has happened and they are no longer able to serve because of something that happened to them while they were serving. And while they were serving, what happened to them means that it took their life. They had to leave the military, but what happened to them is directly affected to them no longer being here. So I shout that out to Kim, and I'll make sure she hears about this. Jim McCollum just had to go grab something, so thank you for that, Chris. I want Jim to tell you the story, but they did just get back in town from a meeting in Pennsylvania. And yes, I've seen the information out there, the McDonald's promotion. I don't know if the word, if you want to use it, a promotion. I say the information that's out there because I don't do mainstream media. My button was poking me. But we want you to know that what happened on that campaign trail when they just went to Pennsylvania. So Jim was literally boots on the ground. And what we want to do is get you that information in regards to why were they there and what happened. Because I bet, and I don't bet, that you didn't know that he was there or why. So as Jim jumps back in, he just got in. I'm not kidding. He hasn't had that much time from being meeting with President Trump. He didn't get to sleep for 48 hours. It's a long trek. So bear with us. He's coming in. We hope that you're doing good out there. Please share, like, subscribe. We'll get you in here. I do see, there we go. Yes, we do like our X viewers there. That is X, previously Twitter. Share it. And then we have you there on Patriots Inside the Wire. Patriots Inside the Wire is a audio, video, broadcast, and then a podcast. The podcast is on anywhere that you can listen to a podcast, literally. We are actually with a broadcast station as well. But what we want is for you to follow the actual show pages because you're going to get the information there. Or you can go the next day and listen to the podcast. We have big news coming, but Jim is back after taking care of the dogs. So I'm going to bring him up and we're going to discuss what are we doing tonight on a Monday night. There you are, Jim. Jim McCollum, how's it going?
Happy to be back. I don't know what the heck happened there.
I said you're checking on the dogs.
Oh, no, I am good. And I don't know what I missed, but no, I am extremely happy to be here. And I have so much to say, depending on where you want to go with this
I'm
week's
all about the
experience.
truth and all about just starting out. So Jim, what I know is that all of a sudden we're doing a show and then we're wrapping up and, you know, getting out of the studio, folks out there. And Jim's like, by the way, something just happened today. And I'm like, what? What something? And the something was, yeah, I'll be in Pennsylvania. And I'm like, wait a minute, Pennsylvania? Really? And Jen, this is where I'm going to refer to you to pick up. You know, from the moment that you said that to me, we were off air, our show from last Wednesday. So again, Mondays and Wednesdays, that's what I announced while you're out, Jim. Mondays is your weekly updates with Jim and Tracy. And then you have Riley's dad is who that is. And I am Sergeant Two Step's mother. So, but we are about all patriots and all the people. And so, Jim, here's what I know. You left in a like that. You were gone. You're in Pennsylvania, and you're like, I have not slept in 2 days, but I'm getting on the plane and I will make it back to do that update. And I'm like, all right, just be safe.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's been a whirlwind since I talked to you. I think I got my flight confirmation the night that I spoke with you, and I honestly didn't know where the heck I was going. I just, you know, it's one of them things you just pay attention, you go where you're told. It's all gonna fall into line, and you know, it always works out in the end. But I was flying blind, literally, not knowing.
Jim, you did not know where you were going to. You knew you were going to Pennsylvania.
I knew I was going to Pittsburgh, and thinking that the Trump rally was going to be in Pittsburgh. And it ended up being in Latrobe, which is about an hour and a half away from Pittsburgh, at the Arnold Palmer Regional Airport, which is another absolutely beautiful story that President Trump actually shared with us when he got there. And I learned things about Arnold Palmer that I never knew. And it was a beautiful story, the way President Trump shared it. But that's where we ended up doing the rally. And getting to the rally and meeting the other Gold Star families, all of that is beautiful in its own. But then to be there and to hear a personal story of a friend of President Trump, which Arnold Palmer was, and then absolutely gorgeous. I had never been to Western Pennsylvania, so I'm like a tourist, basically driving through and seeing everything. I am absorbing as much as I possibly could. And the trip from Pittsburgh to Latrobe was absolutely fantastic. When we got there, we had to be there by about 2:00 in the afternoon, and the rally didn't really start. Trump was scheduled to speak around 6, but it never goes according to a clock. It happens when it happens.
Right.
So we were there for quite a while, and I got to meet some of the most amazing people on the planet. Didn't know where I was going. I've always heard, you know, Pennsylvania is there's a lot of places in Pennsylvania that are very left leaning. So it's like, am I walking into the lion's den or where am I going? It was anything but. It was, these are the most genuine, hardworking, blue collar. And I actually shared that story today with some friends here. It's like you couldn't meet more people on the other side of the planet that resonate with us and think just like us than in Pennsylvania. And I swear, this is my 3rd trip to Pennsylvania. And I'll tell you what, they are amazing people, beautiful people. And they want the same things we do. They want security. They want financial security. and they want, let me live my life and keep the government out of what we do. And because we had such a delay between the time that we got there and when the rally started, I talked to everybody and I had the most fun, and they are the most amazing people. And lo and behold, I met 2 people from Wyoming that now are United Steelworkers that live in Pennsylvania. And I could have spent 3 more days just talking to these people and hanging out with these people, because they were so fun. And they reminded me of me, just like we're the same person. You know, we grew up on different sides of the country, but we are the same people. And I had so much fun.
Well, so Jim, you ended up going to Pennsylvania. And if anyone hasn't been updated, Jim and his son is Riley McCollum, part of the Afghanistan 13, meaning that I know how this works. As Gold Star families or an Angel order, sometimes in an election, they didn't get used. Let me point that out real quick. Wait a minute. Did not get used. They spoke up. When I say they, I mean the families spoke up and said, no, you have this wrong. You don't understand. We actually organized things. So for this trip and everything that followed after saying false information, now you've been on location. So you just leave in a dash to get to Pennsylvania. Now, I actually have relatives there. So I've been there quite a bit at various parts. It is interesting to me because, you know, great people love it. I never understood. I was like, wow, I never would have seen Pennsylvania as, I don't understand the whole semantics on mainstream media saying, well, you know, the area is just one way. And I'm like, no, I'm sorry. This whole country is not just one way. So we really want to stress that. So I've actually been there quite a bit. So I was curious how it was going to go for you. And I'm glad to hear that you made it. So we've got you to the point where they're like, you need to get on a plane, and you get on this plane and you dash out. And do you immediately get on location and go to a airport?
No, I left Wyoming on Thursday. We had a snowstorm coming in, believe it or not. And I-80 in the winter is absolutely horrible. First snowstorm of the year is scheduled, and they're talking anywhere from 4 inches down low to 30, 40 inches up high. It's like, I got to get to Utah to make sure I catch my flight. And that was on Thursday. So I left a little bit early. Thank goodness, because it would have been miserable trying to get there on Friday. My flight left a little bit after noon on Friday, and I had a layover in Minneapolis. And if you don't mind me sharing some of these little short stories, but they're so meaningful. And I had a layover in Minneapolis, and I met a woman, freaking fantastic lady. She's got a son, 20-year-old son, just joined the Air Force. And she actually started the conversation with me. I'm just sitting there minding my own business, and she struck a conversation with me, and she saw my military stuff and my hat, and I've got the 13 on it. And because she assumed I was pro-military, she wanted to talk about her son, how nervous she is, and the state of the country and the state of affairs across the globe. And I had a long enough layover that I was able to spend about an hour and a half before she had to catch her flight. And that was the catalyst for one of the most amazing patriotic of all the events I've been to. And I've been to a ton so far, the RNC and everything. Every one of them is monumental in its own right. This one was different. This one was chaotic. And I'm not going to lie. It was chaotic, trying to figure out when we're going, how we're going, everything else. And I spoke to you briefly about this. I don't even know where I'm going. I just know I'm going.
Right.
so this one was like flying by the seat of your pants, but we're getting close. I've still got to support him. I was invited. There's no way I'm saying no. But it was very patriotic for one, and very personally engaging. Every conversation I had from the time I left to the time I left Pennsylvania, every conversation, and I could tell you who I talked to, where I spoke to them, the people from the Trump campaign that I spoke to, people that I had met in Philadelphia a month and a half ago, to people I just met now. And every conversation was as real and genuine as you could possibly imagine. And the focus is solid, but the patriotism and the respect and the direction we need to go is absolutely, everybody is in unison on all fronts, on what we need to do, where we're going, and how wonderful this is. Her conversation, and I regret this. I gave her a card with my name on it, but I never did get her information. So if she's listening, and I did tell her about,
are you going to tell me another story? I was going to say, hold on. So you're saying if she's listening and she's checking in, you want to give a shout out?
Oh, absolutely. And bless her son, because that conversation meant more to me than she will ever know. Hearing about her son, and she knew about the Afghan 13. She knew about what happened in Kabul, and she is still and from the Portland area, originally born and raised, and that's where she was flying back to go see family. But to hear it from a woman's perspective, and the mom of a son or daughter that is currently enlisted, and to hear her fears, but still, even with all the fears, people are still so pro United States and pro America and pro military. And it was an absolutely fantastic, amazing conversation. And I shared some stories about my kids, and I think I might have shared this with you. I raised my kids as a single dad since 2007.
Yeah. And
they know that I love them, and they all knew that I loved them, but I am not a very nurturing, huggy, feely kind of guy. She actually got out of her chair and says, no, that ends here. And she gave me a hug. Because I did say, since Riley died, I have shaken more hands and given more hugs.
It's softened.
Done the things I should have done with my kids that I didn't do. It's like, no, you're not getting away with that. So no, it was absolutely fascinating. And I swear that conversation with this random woman in the middle of an airport in Minneapolis carried through the entire weekend in Pennsylvania, and all the way home. And every conversation that I had was similar to the one that I had with her. And you, through my writing and everything else, I reflect on a lot of things, and I overthink a lot of things, or I'm very analytical in how things work, so that I can process it and put it down on paper where it makes sense. That was the catalyst for the whole weekend. And oh my goodness, I met the most amazing people because of that. Steel workers. Are you kidding me? They are me. We are all the same. It is that atmosphere and those people in Western Pennsylvania. Are you kidding me? It was priceless. It was beautiful. Great people, great conversations.
We don't really give you a choice. They just go in for a hug immediately. That's Alexandria.
Yeah,
knows.
She knows me too, and she knows I met her actually because of Riley, I think 3 years ago, and no, she has an insight she knows my daughters and she knows me, and she's seen us interact, and it's obvious that we love each other, but we're just a little bit different. We're not touchy feely, huggy, and that sort of thing, which a lot of families aren't. But no, she's actually called me out on that a few times. Like, nah, you're not getting away with that.
All right. Well, I'll make sure of it too. So be sure to share the show and get more in here. So, what that reminds me of, Jim, is in a minute we'll get into the election part. I know I can see you getting the numbers. I'm able to see where and what our numbers are, and that's what we're doing, is trying to wait on that build up here. But so Alex, I got you there. But you know what it is, Jim? What it reminds me of is without my son, two-step, we don't have a unit. We don't have a base. We don't have that interaction going on within the military. So when we meet someone that includes us in it,
Oh my goodness.
it's unbelievable just to be able to be back into like what is going on and just the whole, like you're in one world and all of a sudden you're pulled out and it's like, well,
And
what am I going to do?
when you get that, you're all in because you're missing that. You want, even if you don't realize that you need that, man, when it feels right, it's right. So you're in with both feet and you just absorb every bit of that.
Yeah.
And that's what this weekend was. And the families I was with, there were 6 of the families. And again, we've learned to rely on each other and depend on each other so much. And we navigate this process together, but then being there together and then we're all feeling the same thing and getting the same response from 20,000 people. Like I don't even know how to put that into words, but that feeling, it's irreplaceable. You can't imagine the unison you feel with so many people that you don't even know, but they all have you. It's like one heartbeat. Everybody's heart is beating at the same time, and it is amazing.
Well, Jim, so we've gotten you out of the airport. After you leave the airport, you get to Pennsylvania. Do you know where you're going, or did you get to take a little bit of a break? Did you end up where? I know where. I'm just trying to build this up and get you. I got you out of the airport with some wonderful people. So we're grateful to them because I do know that feeling. And then we're moving forward and being directed.
That's a fun story. That's a fun story as well. I hate being late. I hate being last there.
Hi, Linda.
I was the last person to show up. My flight landed at like 11:23. It got delayed for like 45 minutes or whatever. It's like, man, this I'm not good with this. And I'm not a good flyer anyway. But so I'm the last one there. My flight lands. I'm getting messages from all the other parents. Where the heck are you? I had some parent, hey, we'll come pick you up, whatever. So my flight lands. I travel light just so I don't have to go to baggage check and all that kind of stuff. Went and got my car. Thank goodness the hotel was only like 10 minutes from the airport, and showed up with the rest of the families. And it was, at midnight, we're having a little reunion, and then we all did our thing and ended up going to bed that night. But yeah, we had breakfast in the morning, just in the hotel lobby. And then, we had to be on the road at noon to get to LaPorte for the rally. So we didn't have a lot of time to say again.
To where?
I said LaPorte. That's your hold on.
Latrell. I was going to say, wait a minute. There's a LaPorte, Texas, and then I do have LaPortes in Pennsylvania. I was like, wait a minute. It's Latrell.
Hold on, I'll get the right name here. Latrobe.
Latrobe. The Arnold Palmer Airport was your final destination. However, yes. I want to hear about how the heck did you get there and how did that go?
Well, we ended up, we all had cars and whatever. And I ended up riding with Alan and Coral Doolittle, which is Humberto Lopez or Sanchez's family. And then Alicia Lopez, who is Hunter Lopez's mom, and we rode in a car together. Taylor Hoover's parents, they drove in a car together. And then Steve Nakui and Nicole G's family all drove in a car together. And so, I mean, it's an hour and a half trip, and we got to see a good portion of Western Pennsylvania and drove by the Steeler Stadium, and it was just gorgeous. Our leaves are gone. I mean, winter comes to Wyoming really early. So fall was like 3 weeks ago. But we're there, and you could see the leaves changing and, the colors and everything else. And we just absolutely absorbed the beauty of Western Pennsylvania. And then, we got to the airport, and good Lord, we had to park from where the event was. I'm not kidding. We're 1.5 miles, 2 miles from where the event is.
Wow.
And we walked, down a ways, 1/2 mile or so. But then you hit all the tents where the vendors and all that stuff are, which was absolutely amazing. And I got some stories that are probably not on air appropriate, but I had so much fun with these people.
Well, there's not much we can't do on air. We're not unless if you had some drinks and had fun, that's great.
It was nothing like that. There was no. In fact, I don't think there was any alcohol or anything served anywhere on the whole premises. But on TikTok, I've been following this guy for probably 1.5 months, 2 months. And he's got the cutest little jingle, the ho gotta go. And I don't know if you've seen the shirts. This guy is so funny. And he's got several little jingles he sings with this little song. And it's like, oh my goodness, I have been watching this guy. So I ended up buying a shirt from him. It's like, oh hell yeah, I'm supporting that guy.
Did you wear it?
I was going to wear it tonight. But it's like, and I actually talked to Royce about this. It's like, I really want to wear this shirt tonight. She's like, Dad, don't. So I didn't just because, but I did buy one. So we got to spend
show it.
Probably 1.5 hours just with the vendors and random people. This was at getting into the security gates to get you into the event. And we were waiting for some people and for some direction and things like that. So we had quite a bit of time to kind of hang out and do some shopping and just talk to people. And nobody knew who we were. Nobody had an idea, which is very comforting. I wish they knew more about the story, because a lot of people had no idea when they did come engage us and talk to us. I wish they knew more than they do, but it was also nice that it was just, we could just be us without any judgment or people expecting things or anticipating or feeling sorry for us or anything like that. And I'm sure you've dealt with this too. Sometimes that's very comforting, and you want them to feel something for you. But other times it's so refreshing to we're just people. We're just like you, and we're here for the same reason. So that was really nice. And it was all of us were together, and we're just there and laughing and fun. And
all 13 families were there.
Not all 13. There were let's see, we had, Riley, Taylor Hoover, Sanchez, Gee, and Nakui. So there were 6 of us there. Jared Schmidt's dad was going to be there, and he ended up having an event that took him away, so he couldn't be there. Lopez, Alicia was there. Her husband couldn't come, work-related things. And he's like, man, I really want to go, but I don't dare go. Just random things in life that kind of, sometimes it's like, man, I really want to go, but I have to take care of this. So a lot of representation, and we're all, I mean, this is a very tight-knit group of people.
Yes.
So it's like you're traveling with family everywhere that we go. And that was good. And I'm calling my daughter, and I'm showing her shirts, and these guys are over here calling, hey, do you want me to get you this? So it was we knew what we were getting into, but it was like the calm before the storm. We had a chance to just finally relax and breathe and just be supporters. So we took advantage of that, and we had a lot of fun, and we laughed, and I feel bad because the ho gotta go. She's just as bad as Joe. We're all singing that song for the next 2 days, and you can't get that little jingle out of your head. He's like, that guy is a genius. That little marketing scheme, that guy is a genius. So, but yeah, we were all there for all the right reasons and just having fun. And we were actually allowed to finally be together where we're not so rushed and we're just herded like sheep to go take care of things. I think as chaotic as it was, this is the first time though we were actually able to just stand there and just be us. And I mean, it wasn't planned. There were, because we were all irritated. It's like, really, we got to sit here and wait this long for them to get us through, and so on and so forth. But in retrospect, that was about the most beautiful thing that could have happened for us, because we were just able to just be, and it was good. It was fun.
Wow. I like that. I like that. And so the next thing you know, you're finally in, and when you say in, you're in an airport on, are you in a tarmac? Are you standing on it?
We're on a secondary runway getting into the airport. And once we got through the first phase of security, then you go to the next phase of security where then Secret Service is there. And then it's like, all right, it's game on. We gotta get our stuff together. It took us a little while to get through there and all of us be together. And then they directed us again. All right, here's where you got to go. Then you got to go to this tent, and they're going to give you Kelly Barnett and I, Taylor's mom. We were the two speakers this week, and so they kind of give you the rundown on here's where you're going now. Here's how this is going to work. Here's where you're sitting. So we had about an hour and a half of we're just normal, and then when you get through that first security gate, and then you get past Secret Service, then it's game on. And now it's like, all right, now we got to pay attention because this is what we're doing. And that hour and a half was and this is not Trump, and this is not the Trump campaign. And I'm going to say this with all the respect that I possibly can, but this was the most dysfunctional event that we've been to so far as people knowing what's going on. We would be led over here, and then it's like, nope, you got to go back over there. So we go back over there, and there was always somebody like a point of contact that's taking us from point A to point B, but it's like nobody knew what the heck was going on.
Now, when you say point of contact, that's not the Trump campaign member doing the point of contact. It's someone that works for them.
Right. It's somebody on the ground that's, and those poor people, they're doing the best they can to try to navigate it too. Cause they've got the earphones in, and they're just doing what they're told. So we're just following like a herd of sheep back and forth, trying to figure out where we're going.
He's unorganized.
This one poor guy, he's like, I am so sorry. We don't know what the heck we're doing. It's like, we don't either. So you're good. You're solid. We'll just follow you. You let us know.
Someone in that town, Jim, you're talking about someone in that town was the point of contact trying to rally together what was happening in different areas in Pennsylvania.
And if I remember correctly, this kid was actually going to the school there. He's a college kid, like a college conservative, volunteering his time. These aren't paid people. He's doing what we're doing. He's just a leader. He's just going where he's told to go, and we're just following him. So it was fun.
I was just pointing it out.
In your outlook, you could be irritated or frustrated or whatever. We're just so easygoing. We just kind of laugh, and it's like, dude, you're good. Because he could, as stressed as we were, and I think we all felt that stress, this poor kid, because he does know who we are, and he's trying to do a great job for us. And you could just see it in his face. He's feeling like he's failing miserably. It's like, dude, you are golden. You are good. We've done this once or twice. So no, you're doing fantastic. So it was fun.
Yeah, I definitely wanted to point out it was not Trump and his campaign that was dysfunctional and unorganized. It was, this came together last minute, and it was like, hey, let's get these families out here. And so again, like,
it was the most fun.
Anybody listening.
It was the most fun chaos you can absolutely imagine from people that are just like you. Imagine going somewhere and you don't know what you're doing or where you're going or how you're going to get there. These guys think they know until they're told otherwise. And then it's like, oh my goodness, because their script just got thrown in the trash, and he is doing the best he could do. And there was a young lady too, same thing. She was just, oh my goodness, I am so sorry. It's like, there are no need for apologies because we're all in this together. So, hey, you follow us. We'll get there. It's all going to work out. It was fun.
So,
and mind you, these are 22 to probably 23, 24-year-old kids.
yeah. Where did you end up, Jim? The funny thing, though, is you have to say that again because Alexandria tuning in, and I'm glad she put it there. I'm trying not to crack up from it, the comment that she has, but she wants to hear what you said earlier when you kind of mumbled it. And
oh, shit.
Yeah, that. She wants to hear it. She says, I'll put up her comment in a second, but she wants to hear what that was because she thinks she caught it, but she's saying, you need to speak up.
All right. You better show the context because I got a lot of things. I can't remember what I said, but there are a lot of things.
Jingle, the singing, the jingle that you did, the jingle. Yeah, and I don't know it either. So I am sitting here doing the same thing going,
oh my goodness, everybody listening, you got to go to YouTube and find the guy that he's at all the Trump rallies. And I've seen him now for 2 months. And
or we can pull him up, but I'd rather hear it from you.
He's just saying, that hoe gotta go. That hoe's just as bad as Joe. I take cash, card, and Venmo. That hoe's gotta go. And he had several variations of that little jingle. It's like, oh my God, I love this guy. He is fantastic. He was so fun.
That's what she did. I got one doing that. I got another one. That singing of that jingle is one of the favorite things I've ever heard. You heard it on Patriots Inside the Wire, and I'm like, go for it. Do it again,
ma'am.
Jim.
I have been singing that song for the last 2-3 days. I can't get it out of my head. It's like one of those things you just randomly hear.
Behind the stage here, so we're good. See, there you go. You got it, Alexandria.
Love you, ma'am.
We'll be sure to get. Well, we should get a hold of him and say, you can come on. We want to hear this directly from you.
Oh, so, absolutely. I wish I would have. I'm really bad at this. All those conversations, and I never get. They get my contact information, but I never get the return. So I have to wait for some of these people to reach out to me. Oh, he would be fantastic. He was so fun. And such a huge Trump supporter. No, it was fun. And that guy is doing fantastic and so engaging, so personable. And like I said, we were there before we got through the first stage of security, probably an hour and a half. And so I got 45 minutes probably with those two guys that we're just kind of hanging out, watching them, listening to them, and got to talk to them a little bit. And that was pretty cool. And again, everything happens for a reason. There was a reason that I was there for that long and able to interact with them and just kind of observe everything else that was going on. As I did take some pictures because like I said, we're still 1.5 miles away from the actual event, but I did take some pictures of the crowd as it was beginning 5 hours before the event, 6 hours before the event. The line of traffic, the line of people. And I got to talk to so many people that if they're watching this or they ever tune into this, they'll remember me. My hat's pretty noticeable and the gray whiskers are kind of unforgettable. It's like, hey, I know that guy from somewhere. I had conversations with people from all over. And a lot of the people were not from Latrobe or Pittsburgh. They traveled in from across the state to be there. And, I don't volunteer Riley's information or Riley's story or who I am. If you know me and you ask me, absolutely, I will engage with you. But no, I'm not here. It's not, oh, woe is me, or I don't want any pity. That story is its own story. I want to hear your story. I want to learn more about you. And the reason I'm here is my own agenda, journey. Thank you. That's better. Yeah. So I met some of the most fascinating people. Oh, and as this winds up tonight, I got more stories at the end of the event that were absolutely amazing. People that waited for me to come out so that they could engage in a conversation.
Where did you go into, Jim? So I've got you now past the second level of security.
Yep.
Through with these wonderful people you've met. Now you're through the next phase of the security.
Now we're waiting for the golf carts. They could only haul 3 of us at a time, and they would take us by golf cart into the event through the security. Knock on wood, and thank goodness they finally upped their game a little bit with all the stuff that's happened in the past. Security was pretty well top notch on this one. So we went through the second phase, and then we have to take a golf cart, and they could only take 3 at a time to the next phase. And everybody's waiting for us. All the first 3 waited for us all until we all got there. And then we got through that. And then that's when we met. Now we're meeting the actual Trump campaign team and the people that are putting on the event and everything else. And then they would take us into tents and debrief us. And okay, here's how this is going to go. Who are my speakers? And they'd put us all, basically line us out. Here's what's going to happen. And this was a good, 2.5, 3 hours before Trump was scheduled to arrive.
Mm-hmm.
But we got the breakdown on, okay, here's what to expect. Here's how this is going to go. Here's where you're sitting. They showed us where our seats were, who's sitting next to us, which is also phenomenal. I got some stories there. So we went through that, and that takes about an hour to get through the logistics of everything. And okay, you're going to be here. He's scheduled to be here at this time. It's chaotic as hell, but it's very generic. We go through this every time we go to a new event. So you just kind of go through the motions of that. And then from that point, for about an hour, we were again allowed to just kind of do whatever we wanted, mingle with who we wanted to. We could have just hung out together, but these families are so dynamic, and it's such a beautiful group and so engaging. Somebody asks you a question, or somebody recognizes you. Hey, can we get a picture? Or hey, where are you from? And they want to know a little bit more. And there were a few people that have followed our story that knew exactly who we were, so they really wanted to know more information. There were a couple of an Israeli TV news channel actually interviewed a couple of the mothers. So it was just really a random, not even chaotic. It was very controlled chaos. You still didn't know what was going on, but there were no curveballs, and you didn't feel uncomfortable or anything like that. Excuse me. So that was about an hour and a half. And then after that, and we mingled with people, and it did not take long for that place to fill up. It was, I would say within an hour, every available seat was filled up. And I have never seen so many, and I've worked construction my whole life. I have never seen so many hard hats ever. And then I'm starting to get the gist of who the audience was, and who the crowd was. And I did it. I interacted with a few people and whatever. But once you realize, it's like, all right. I didn't know much about the industry or what Western Pennsylvania was all about. I knew the steel industry was huge. I didn't quite understand on what a large scale the steel industry is done in Western Pennsylvania.
Oh yeah. I keep singing Coal Miner's Daughter in my head every time you say that.
Yeah.
I keep thinking of this song. We have several comments here. So thank you for all being here. I can see your messages. Linda, I have put out our website, patriotsinsidethewire.com. It's under construction. More will be added soon. That's a tip and a secret of some announcements that are to come in the next 1 to 2 weeks. We appreciate that. And Christine is saying, Jim, it's interesting. It's the same thing that you and I have talked about. So Christine, with her son wanting to go into the Air Force, and she's a wreck about it. I replied and said, we definitely understand that. And based on the location, we can give some advice on who to connect with. My personal advice right now is the ROTC at the school. And then there, based on where you're at, there are others to connect to. So I did respond, Jim, and I said, listen, my real story's not out there. Even remember, his obituary is not exactly what happened. So I responded that between both of us here on this screen, this is not the typical thing that we saw coming. So having been to war, having done multiple things, both of us with our kids in, I don't want her to be experiencing that this is how it's going to go. No, the numbers would astound you as to, based on U.S. soil, I mean, it's up above 80% right now on what we lose is on U.S. soil. So you'd be surprised about that. So I would tell you that, you know, look into the ROTC program there at that school, and that you're going to be fine. Just like we're good. We have our bad days, but I wanted to be sure to get back to her and tell her that I did see that message. And then, of course, we got Alexandria, who's just dying and saying she's glad you did it again, Jim. your jingle. I think we're going to turn it into yours.
She is fantastic.
Yeah.
And I can honestly say I probably had over 20 conversations with parents with the exact same question.
Yeah, she's in New Mexico.
Either children going in and they want to go in, but the parents, because of what's happened in the last 4 years, it's the parents and the moms and the dads that are, they're pulling the reins back. It's like, no, you know, we can't do that. The kids want to serve. The kids want to do their part. They want to, at 20 years old, 18 years old, you want to do something. You want to make that difference. And I get that completely because I have that kid. You had that kid. Under these circumstances, though, holy hell, if we were under the same circumstances now and Riley was 18 wanting to go, I would do everything I could to talk him out of it. The leadership isn't there. The support isn't there. This is not a commander-in-chief, and knock on wood, I hope it goes the other way, but that is not the commander-in-chief you want to serve under. So, I mean, the parents have apprehensions, and they were genuine conversations.
You know,
and the moms.
Of having, the internet circling. Bear with us here for a moment as Jim is circling. You can see the internet, and your internet was lagging there. So you'll be just fine, Christine. Stay in touch with us. We have a lot of people hanging onto their seats going, okay, wait, we're in Luttrell. Now we're in Luttrell, and what is going on, Jim?
Okay. Once we got through all the tents, and it's like circus tents basically, because, and I actually made a joke of this because I'm kind of a smart ass. So, and yeah, we're just a circus clowns, and they're going to run us through all the circus tents. The families with me get it because I'm just me. So I just throw it out there. But no, we went through all the tents, we got our debriefings, and here's how it's going to go. And, we were originally told we were going to follow the two Pittsburgh Steelers football players. They're going to speak. You guys go on right after them. And that was Le'Veon Bell and Antonio Brown. And they were supposed to go on stage. As soon as they came off, we're supposed to go on. Well, then the announcer all of a sudden calls my name first, and then Kelly Barnett. And Kelly had already is like, hey, Jim, can I go first? Can I speak first? For obvious reasons, you know, as much as we do this, it's still uncomfortable. And I mean, there is anxiety and there's nerves. And so it's like, you're still talking first. You just go, I'll follow you up on stage. So we got on stage, and this was an hour and a half, maybe 2 hours before President Trump was scheduled to arrive. His plane was coming in. So anyway, the Gold Star families all went on stage, and Kelly gave her speech, and I gave mine, which I do have to apologize. I have posted my intended speech on my Facebook page
I saw
versus
that.
what I actually stumbled through as I was up there. I left my speech, my handwritten speech, where I write bigger than I can text, so I could see it on my page. And it's like, whatever. I got it on my phone, so I'm good. And I
No.
got up there, and no, I'm getting older, and my eyesight is worse, and I couldn't make out the words. I forgot two of the kids. It's like, oh my goodness, who in the heck am I here with? And okay, I got to backtrack a little bit. One of the steel workers that I met there, lo and behold, whose face do I see in the middle of the crowd? I can still see his beard, his red hard hat, and his grin is from ear to ear. So as soon as I locked eyes with that guy, I forgot everything I was going to say. It's like, oh my goodness, are you kidding me? So, but he's just sitting there smiling. He was so proud to have met us and so happy to meet us. And he introduced me to his son. And so I just lost all train of thought at that moment. So I stumbled through my speech. I got most of it out and got the context, but to
What
kind of
was the context? So visually, Jim, you're at a podium on a tarmac and you're speaking, and there's roughly how many people are there?
I'm going to say there were 20,000.
Okay.
I never did hear an official number. There were a lot of people.
Yeah, there were a lot of now there was only a few that I confided in, but a lot of people did not know where and what was happening. They were paying attention on mainstream media to the one that was already scheduled, the information. So I was like, well, I'm not gonna respond for him. I'm going to wait till you get back. So a lot of people are like, what do you mean? Like, where else was he, like, speaking? And I'm like, well, there is another location. And as far as what mainstream media and what was going on with the television interview versus what's going on literally on the ground, you were there on the ground somewhere. Did you happen to notice any media? Did you notice any mainstream media there?
They did have their typical media, I don't even know what gallery, I guess, at the very back, and 15, 20 different news agencies. I didn't pay attention to who was there. I've long since not cared what media is there because they never get it right. So I quit looking. There were several local media stations, which I did pay attention to because they're more genuine. They're more real. They're not the local media is more in tune and in touch with the reality of what's going on, where the others, they have their agenda and they're going to spin it whatever they want to. So I've pretty much just avoided them in the past. It's like, I don't care what you have, but you have a local media station. Absolutely. I will talk to you. I'll talk to anybody, but I've learned to know who's got an agenda and who is just actually wanting to know, hey, why are you here? With a genuine curiosity and where are you from, that sort of thing. So national media, 15, 20 cameras back there. Local media, and they're never all together. They're kind of random. I would say another 15, 20 local media, Pennsylvania media stations. And when I say there were probably 20,000 people there, I don't know how many people were in direct line of sight and surrounding us. But then you look at the overflow, and then you look where I said that the first security gate we had to get through. And once the seats fill up, it's first come, first serve. Once those seats fill up, that's it. You're done. So if you didn't get there early, you're SOL. You're not getting in there. And there were, easily 5,000 people out on that additional tarmac or the runway. There were a lot of people.
So you got to speak, Jim. You had two of you that spoke. Who else spoke before you get to what you're going to tell them, as far as who shows up, who else was speaking?
Kelly Barnett.
Lighting.
Kelly Barnett, another Gold Star mother, and she is Taylor Hoover's mom.
Okay.
And Taylor's dad, Darren, was also, Darren. He was on the program a couple of weeks ago.
Yep. Darren Hoover, for his son. Darren's a police officer, retired.
Yep.
But, yep, part of the.
And then Alicia Lopez, who sat right next to me, her and Herman are also both law enforcement from California. And that's part of the reason Herman couldn't come. Alicia did make it, but Herman couldn't. We've got a lot of law enforcement. And Alicia is and Herman are another wonderful story. They've also got, they lost Hunter. Owen, their other son, is currently enlisted. So they've got an active duty current time. The stories are just amazing. Yeah, it's I got sidetracked there. It's
you're okay. I'm walking you through.
My heart always goes. Just about started crying there. My heart always goes back to Dover, and that's the first time I met these parents. Any of them, I didn't know any of them prior to when our kids came back home. And I remember Herman and Alicia, and I definitely remember Darren, because Darren and I actually did speak, and we actually bonded very quickly. But I remember looking at the moms, and the moms were the biggest thing for me. At Dover, and this is going to sound callous, and that I'm patting myself on the back or something. No, I'm born and raised in Wyoming. I was raised by my father, and we're good. We're solid. Yeah, we lost Riley. Me and my girls are going to be fine. And mind you, I was a single dad. I raised them for 17 years by myself. We're good. But I would look at the moms, and I would see the pain in the mother's eyes. And it's at that moment, it's like, if I could do anything to put that pain on my shoulders, I'll take their pain. Me and my girls, we're going to be fine, but let me take the pain away from those moms. Little did I know, I was lying to myself, because bullshit, I was not fine. I thought I was, and I thought I could handle anything. Hindsight is like, no, I'm just like everybody else. You can only take so much. But at that moment, when we were in Dover and seeing the hurt in those mamas' eyes, oh my goodness. And that's where all my relationships with these families started, was in Dover. August 29th, 2021. And that's how these relationships all started and bonded. And to this day, they're forever family. We were all thrown into a really bad situation all at once, and we've all been trying to navigate it all together. And I feel very fortunate that I'm doing it with the people that I'm doing it with, because I need them more than they know. So, but yeah, to get back on track. Yes. Kelly Barnett was the other speaker, which was also fascinating. She gave her speech and I gave mine, and we did not coordinate. We didn't have a script we were going off. We didn't have, hey, you got to talk about this, you have to talk about that. Nothing. There were no conversations about the speeches at all. And then she gave her speech. It's like, my goodness, we without even knowing, we are so in tune with what the message is, not just about our kids, but America, supporting Donald Trump, the state of the country. Is like, my goodness, that was beautiful. So I gave my speech, and then the representatives from Pennsylvania, you had somebody running for Senate, you had a congressman, and I can't remember the other gentleman that spoke, but every speech, everything had the same context to the speech. And then even when Donald Trump finally gave his speech, like, holy cow, he just hit on 7 of the things that I was speaking of It's like, it's amazing how in tune we really are, and how unified that message is. And none of us knew anything about who was going to say what. Even the steelworkers, when they got up and gave their speeches, off script completely, but they were talking about the same things we were speaking of. And it was so refreshing to me. It's like, man, it is the heartbeat of America. We all really do have the same message, the same desires, the same goals. And how beautiful is that? People from across the country. We had California all the way to Pennsylvania, New York people showing up, but the message is still the same. And as I'm sitting there listening to it, like I said, I absorb everything because I'm going to write about a bunch of this stuff later. So it's all fascinating to me. But no, it was so cool to hear what they said, how they said it, what they think, what they're feeling, and what their view of our politics and our world and where we're at. It's like, I'll be damned. We are all from completely different backgrounds, but we're all the same. And that's pretty refreshing.
Definitely. I am putting you on. So right now you are on TikTok Live through the phone because of your song jingle that you did. That's what's happening right now. So if anybody's wondering, like, why is there so much fidgeting around? Well, it is because of your song jingle that you did. And so I say, keep talking and people will hear where you ended up. But
that gentleman needs to patent that little jingle. I'm telling you, because
but for the others that were trying to figure out what the heck is going on, give it a minute here, and I will. Jim McCollum is on. We're on Monday nights, weekly update. Jim just got back from speaking with Trump. Luttrell is the portion we're at right now, and making sure that you can hear us. And Jim, you're going to have to do the jingle again, but not yet. You're not yet. This is what happened is it's funny how this happens. This has happened to me a couple of times where someone got into something. It's like, wait a minute, hold on. Let me get you the real stuff out. So, and I didn't want it just on me either. So, I want to make sure that they hear you. So you're in Luttrell, you're going to speak. You knew this, and you decided, let's let the mom go first.
Yep.
And, and then it's your turn to get up there and speak. And I know that you've already posted your speech. I actually saw that. But I knew we would be telling everyone tonight. So I thought, well, you can just tell your story literally, now.
Absolutely. And if anybody watching, you want to see what because I got a little bit nervous, and I looked out in that crowd. And like I said, the gentleman that I had just spoken to, I looked at his face and I saw his smile. I completely lost my train of thought. But yeah, on my Facebook, I'm easy to find. I'm Jim McCollum on Facebook. And I did post, I think I said, thank you for your support. I apologize. I kind of got a little bit nervous, whatever. But this is what I intended to say, I think is what I preface that message with. But yeah, I posted my original speech and I got 90% of it, but there were some things I did forget. But no, absolute honor. I mean, good grief. Yeah, I've been so many different places in support of Donald Trump and this movement and where we need to go as Americans, for crying out loud. But to be able to speak on such a platform in front of, and I swear, things happen for a reason. And I firmly believe that. The crowd that I spoke in front of is me. Those are my people. And I'm not going to lie. I've got my favorite little bar in Rock Springs is called Johnny Mac's Good Time Tavern. And they are all hardworking, blue collar, a lot of oil field, because that's what's big here. And when I was in Pennsylvania, it's like, man, I got to get you guys out to Wyoming, because Jesse and Devin, who own the bar, is like, you're our people. You are just like us. You show up through those doors and you are every one of us that are sitting there at any given time. And I actually had that conversation earlier today with Jesse. It's like you might get 20 or 50 freaking, steel workers from Pennsylvania that come in here. So we're going to have to close your bar down, and there'll be a special event. And I didn't know this as I'm saying this. There is a United Steelworkers Union here in Wyoming. I had no idea till today. It's like, you got to be kidding me. I wish I would have had this information when I was there, because I could have shared this. But the thing that was so profound to me and so beautiful, because I look at them, you just instantly are drawn to people like you. And these steelworkers, they are me. I bent nails for a living. These guys mess with steel, but you're the same people. You work hard, you bust your butt. All you want to do is make your money, take care of your family, go home, get the government the hell out of your business, and live life. And that everybody I met, and that's why I resonated so well with them. It's like, I got to get you guys to Wyoming, because we are the same people. And no, it was fun. It was fascinating.
Well, Jim, so our camera's flipping all around, but so they have tuned in because of this. Hold on a second, everybody. I see you there on every platform. Literally, I'm getting this because we just had to add it late to the actual live show that we're on right now. So, Jim, your jingle, so I don't get called to do it. I'm going to have you. That's who right there. We're going to
give me 2 seconds and I'll go
you,
grab the
Jim.
shirt. I'll go grab the shirt real quick.
He
It's
wants
right
to
there.
go his shirt, everyone, to make sense. Or you can hold the shirt up too. He's not going to get undressed on the show, so everybody hang tight. I'm trying to talk to you about heading to Luttrell, a last minute by the Trump campaign. We have the families Afghanistan 13. I am a Gold Star mother. My son, Sergeant Two-Step behind us here. I did not add TikTok tonight. We are on YouTube, Instagram, on an actual broadcast. But because of Jim, and who brought up something earlier about TikTok and the individual, I started receiving a lot of messages. And I said, okay, we're going to make sure that I don't get it. But we will make sure that you do. So I'm trying to get you all settled here, Jim. And everybody's probably got vertigo from as much as it's moving around. I know I do. But
and if anybody knows this gentleman, you got to put him in touch with us, because he would be absolutely amazing to have on the show. But you've seen him on TikTok, I swear, with this shirt.
Hold on one second. Oh, there we go.
That hoe gotta go. That hoe's just as bad as Joe. I take cash card and Venmo. That hoe gotta go. He had several variations of the jingle. It was like, oh my goodness, because like I said, on TikTok, I've been following.
And this is an individual on TikTok.
Yes. And I think I did give him a card. And like I said, I'm horrible at this. I'll give you my information, but I never ask for the information back where I can get in touch with them.
Yeah.
So if anybody knows this guy, please put him in touch with Tracy or I, because
all
he
they
is
have to do is reach out to Patriots Inside The Wire, which is on TikTok.
Yes.
It's on everywhere. So whoever's listening out there right now, he is talking about the song, and I had not heard it, but it seems like y'all had a lot of fun in regards to the song, and I wanted to get out the information in regards to and so this is a tentacle that I just bought, y'all, and it is not working exactly like they said. Sorry, I
swear this guy has been at every rally in the last 2 months.
So
he is everywhere, and he's easily identifiable. I mean, the way he does way better at his jingle than I do. But if anybody knows him or can put him in touch with us, or Patriots on the Wire or Inside the Wire, absolutely, because he is so fun.
You don't
Such a
want to be
dynamic
outside the wire.
personality. Yeah.
You definitely don't want to be outside. I'm going to just leave this up because that's how they can see you, Jim. Because so I don't have to hold it, but I'd rather be showing you than me. So in a second here, what we'll do is, because we want to get out the story too about, you know, being there and speaking. But what we want to do is, I think they've got, I'm not sure. It doesn't matter. We're live though. So you can do your jingle again.
Now.
And give me 1 second here. This thing is, I don't want it on me. I'm trying to get it on you. And it's because we don't have the channel added tonight. But if they just bear with me a second with technology, this new tentacle thing that I'm not sure that I care for myself. It's driving me up a wall. There. So why can't they? Yeah, you just, if you hold it down some, that's how it's gonna have to go, folks. So I don't have to like do this for each of you like that. There we go. Here we are. Bear with us. We've got it. Now you can see him. Yes, you can. So
you gotta say no to that hoe. That hoe's just as bad as Joe. I take cash card and Venmo. You gotta say no to the hoe. I'm sorry, daughters.
I have not heard that.
Home. I'm going to get a message here shortly. Like, Dad, you got to stop.
Anybody listening right now, Patriots Inside the Wire, we literally have security right now down at the stage. Jim, you want to point your messages, point them to Patriots head security, or Jim, he can definitely handle his own. So,
I'll take it.
Say, hey, well, no, it's a free country. And not only did we have our children serving for those freedom and those rights, I mean, I am not going to be somebody who's even at a broadcast station. That's why we don't get paid. Because if I went back to a building that wanted to pay me right now,
they're going to tell you what
you're out with everybody and saying, let's go.
Yep,
so we're still out there on a broadcast. We just choose to pay and we'll find sponsors later. That's not why we're here tonight. Tonight, Jim just got back from Pennsylvania. He is one of the Afghanistan 13 families. I like to say families. I point that out. We've got siblings and all that we got to take care of. As a Gold Star mom and Angel family, which means Border Patrol agent Javier Vega Jr. Can't forget him. Cannot forget Sergeant Two-Step, Riley Lance Corporal Riley McCollum. His brother here is Jim. For those of you just turning in, Jim ends up Saturday in Latrobe, Pennsylvania.
Latrobe.
Okay, my country. Yeah. I am country. So here he is. He is speaking. And after going through all that security and meeting these wonderful people, so the gentleman that does that jingle, you're telling me he was there in person?
Yep. He was there in person.
Literally.
And I've been, like I said, I've been watching him now for a month and a half, 2 months. He is at, I swear, every rally. And the first security checkpoint that we had to go through, he's out there with all the vendors, and he just stays there and he's selling his shirts. Now there is capitalism at its finest. I have nothing but love and respect for this guy. One, he is the most fascinating individual I think I've ever spoken to in my life. His background is amazing. And then what he's doing at his little jingle, and I mean, he did his own marketing, and I'll tell you what, half the country is singing that jingle every day on the way to work. No, he was absolutely fantastic. I was hoping he would be there when we left because I was not done talking to him yet. But I
guess no, I'm one of the few that has not heard this. And then we've got Betsy saying the dance. Do you know something about the dance?
I'm not doing the dance. I'm not doing the dance. He's got this little dance that goes with it too, and it is phenomenal. No,
Somebody knows what you're talking about. If you're not getting that, I see on there and TikTok. We're not live on there, so you're by the phone, but you can find us on Facebook. You can find us on YouTube, really any social platform. If you're on X, it's Patriot on Air. So,
and to further that cause, you can search it on TikTok, and you can definitely, because my daughter did the same thing, because Royce couldn't figure out who the heck I was talking about. So she searched it on YouTube, and lo and behold, there he was. So you can find this guy pretty easy, and he is so fun, and just and God bless him, and I love him more than he will ever know, because he is a dynamic person, and I wish nothing but the best for that guy.
well, I think that he will know, between whoever's out there on TikTok right now watching, since he's pretty big out there on TikTok. This is the first time I've opened up live on TikTok. We would have added that, but we need to grow this account. So as you're listening right there on Patriots Inside the Wire for TikTok through a station right now, broadcast station, there aren't enough followers at the new station that we moved to, which means independent, our own broadcast station, which is through a station. And again, we pay for actual time, airtime. We have a big announcement coming soon, but as we just had Nicole Rimney on last week in regards to a Patriots American-owned company here with a rancher in the USA. Say thank you to her. There's her information again. That just popped up. That's interesting. But through your comments here, I'm trying to walk us through this jingle's getting, I don't know if I'm going to say this. Oh, okay. Well, whatever your moves are, and the word hysterical. So let's get you to the podium. So, I knew exactly what Betsy is referring to. That's why I was laughing. So, this whole show might just be about that jingle. Your moves on the jingle. I don't know. I have not.
It's not copywritten already, because I might get my butt in trouble here. But no, that guy, he is fantastic, and the gentleman with him, and that's all they do. They're selling T-shirts at Trump ralies and really pushing the conservative side of things. They are very anti Kamala Harris. I mean, the personal conversations.
They can come sponsor Patriots Inside the Wire, grow that base, and we can add them to our station. We're in the middle of doing a lot of that as we've switched around. So I've got Betsy's so funny, your moves. So as we are moving on and we go at a podium, where is President Trump during this time? Is he there?
He had not landed yet.
He's arriving.
He had not landed yet. We got done speaking. Le'Veon Bell and Antonio Brown spoke, and a couple other local politicians spoke, and then Trump did his proverbial flyby. And man, that's a big plane. And they're only, I mean, it doesn't look like they're more than a half inch above the ground. I'm guessing they're probably 200 feet-ish, maybe 300 feet, but it looks a heck of a lot closer to the ground. He did a flyby, which was amazing. And then, it takes a while for that big old plane to go out and turn around and come back. And then they played a bunch of music, and it was at that point when he did his flyby, everything else just kind of shut down, and you're just waiting. Now the anticipation is there, so everybody is just waiting for that plane to come back, and then you got to see it land, and do the whole thing to where he actually steps off the plane and comes to the stage. Powerful.
And had you already finished with yours? Had you already finished speaking?
Yep. I spoke probably about an hour before his plane came, so he was not there when we gave our speech. And then there were other things and some kind of entertaining conversations, all very, very pro Trump and very pro get out the vote, just vote. take 10 people with you. If you haven't registered, man, register. They were really pushing early voting, and I got to get better on that. I was raised differently from my dad. No, you vote on election day. You don't do this early voting crap and you don't mail it. No, you get your butt down there on election day and you vote. And I'm still very steadfast in that, and I can't kind of break that mold. I talked to several people there that actually worked for the Trump campaign trying to convince me otherwise. It's like, man, that's going to be a tough one. I will maybe at some point, but right now, no, I'm an election day voter, and I firmly believe that should be a national holiday, and to hell with everything else. This is our right. Let's go vote. But they were really pushing voter registration and early voting, and I get why they are, but that was the gist of like the last hour, and a lot of the speakers were very, very pro Pennsylvania, very pro steelworker, and so on and so forth. But mostly the gist of that before President Trump arrived was just vote. We got to vote. Pennsylvania is going to carry this. We've got to vote. So that was the focus before he showed up. And then when he showed up, oh my goodness. Oh my hell. No, I've listened to him in person. I think this is my 4th time. This was the best because he was, everything's somewhat scripted, but he was also with a bunch of steel workers, and the guy knows his audience. He definitely knows who he's speaking to and knows who they are. And he was just himself. And it was so fun and so refreshing to see him. He said some things that I'm not going to repeat. You have to be there or you have to watch the speech to get it on your own. But I'll tell you what, the guy is about as genuine as you can get. And he just let it go. He was him, and he is funny. And that same compassion, and he shared stories that we've discussed where most of the country doesn't understand that or doesn't see that part of him because the media tells you that he's completely different. Everybody watching.
Job, you don't go home with your coworkers and you don't get to know them in that sense, but you do have someone that can do the job, the business. You turn in the resumes, and it's like right now, what's going on in my whole thing, Jim, has been, okay, then fine, then do it right now. Like, don't tell me you're going to do something when you have been a part of something for the last 4 years. Yep. And it was completely opposite. But right now, do it today.
Do it.
Why not?
What are you waiting for? Yeah. If it can make America better, why are you waiting?
Yeah.
Why are you January when you can do it today? That makes no sense because you're pandering for votes and you're.
Well, my own this is a personal opinion, is that when you go back and do your homework, and I tell everybody, do your own homework. Do not just go off of one post somewhere, something you saw on TV. Get your information, get your facts, understand what's going on, and then what the impact and what is going to happen with these steps that we need to take, because it's a very, very important election, not just for today, but for our future. So, I was thinking about this today. When I go to vote tomorrow and I turn that in, I'll be able to take my youngest son, Cash, with me, who's not old enough to vote, but he's gone with me every single time, even our local elections. We stay very active there. I want to encourage you for that. He'll get to go tomorrow, and we'll do that. Now, the next time there is a president, he can vote. And I was like, you do understand this is the last one where you're going with mom. And now when you get to go, it's going to be this next election. So it's extremely important, really, for the future generations, number one. Number two, I like to tell them, because listen, they're talking about it in school, and it's like, don't watch just one thing. Check out your information. If I'm going to work at a big Fortune 500 company and I'm collecting different resumes, and I'm going to look at the analytics, I'm going to look at the statistics, I'm going to look at the information, and I'm going to verify that information of your job, your employment, and what you've done. And I don't need to go home with you. I don't need to know your information. I don't need to bring that into that environment. Yeah, I know this is a different area, but I'm trying to explain this to your average common sense basic information level. And so when I talk to even my kiddos that go into school and all of a sudden they are believing and coming home and telling me a different thing, I'm like, wait a minute, hold tight. There is a process. There is a reason for things. We do want things to happen here in this country, but there's a reason. Like when I bring up Javier Vega Jr., that's a very, very big thing that should have never happened before Title 42 lifted. Bring up Sergeant Two-Step, I still haven't told his whole story, but again, it relates right back to Javier, Border Patrol Marine. And so we'll be sure to get the TikTok's account grown. Those are the ones that are checking you out for the jingle. So you have to follow Patriots Inside the Wire. You can find us for that. And I'll make sure Jim does that. So do not send me anything about the jingle. It is not ours. It is for the people.
I wish I had his name or got a card or something to give him the credit.
No,
yeah.
It's all fine. I guarantee I've already gotten telling me where. I didn't want to pull it up though, because I actually like the one-on-one. I was like, wait, what? And so in order to broadcast, this is what I'm saying, in order to broadcast to somewhere like TikTok or something, you have to have so many people. But if we get back to where you're at, Jim, and we've got this flyover and in comes this plane, and I have paid attention and I saw that. And here it is coming in and just there in the hard hat and, amongst the people there in Pennsylvania. Did you walk away from that going, and while you were there, did you actually get up close to him like you were going to try to do? Or was it just so all over that, you were taking it in?
We never got a chance to, it was quick. By the time his plane landed and then he got up on stage, and we were actually in the tent where we got briefed to give our speeches. Once we gave our speeches, we came off and had to go back into that tent. Then we had to, for security reasons, we had to stay there until the plane landed and they got him up on stage. So we're in kind of the background, but we're watching him get off the plane and get up to the stage. And then they walked us back to our seats. We never, until he was completely done, and we did get some photo ops, and I got to share this. I did get him to sign my hat.
Nuh-uh. I did not expect that. You might have to show that again. So you did get your hat signed. That was extremely, extremely smart, Jim. I should have sent you mine to take with you. Next time. There will always be a next time, because Donald Trump does support our Gold Star families. He supports our Border Angel families. He does support. I'm telling you, it took me 15 minutes, whereas trying to work with everyone else, and I mean everyone else, with the help of someone, did not take. It took us actually several years. So, to get a 15-minute response in there was like, oh, wait a minute. And when I called to tell someone, they're like, there's no way. And I said, oh yeah, it's true. It's very true. So I like to tell the true stories behind the people who actually have been there. And unfortunately, the reason we are there is because of something that we don't want to ever happen to anyone out there. We don't want you to experience life having lost a child serving this country. So this election is by far, that's why, like, you were willing to jump and go, hey, I'm there. And I've been saying it from the beginning. I'm like, yeah, because
it is so important.
It's important to do so. And so as he gets in, the hard hats are handed out. What did you take from that whole speech, that when he finally did get to speak? Or you just said, can you sign my hat?
Oh no. We finally got back to I mean, he's doing his old dance and the song, his entry song. He actually came into The Undertaker. WWE wrestling, which
I love
was, and I'm not a
wrestling.
huge WWE fan, but I do pay attention and I know who all those people are and whatever. But it's like that. That's priceless. That's pretty damn cool. So he did his thing, got on stage.
Art, MMA and art.
We had already listened to the president, the vice president. I can't remember who all the people were. I wish I would have paid more attention, but of the United Steelworkers, there were a handful of them. I want to say 6 or 8 of them actually got on stage. They were after us. So just a little bit before President Trump's plane landed. And I got to listen to them. And we actually got to meet several of them in the backstage tent. And that's where that kinship just grew. It's like, holy hell, they're just like us. They work with steel. I bend nails. I work with timber, whatever. Like, I like these guys. They're pretty cool. And unknown to me, when we got back to our seats, there's 30 of them right behind me. And then you look up okay, President Trump is center stage. Behind him, you can see all the hard hats in the background. They're all part of the same, they all know each other. They're all steel workers. And what an absolutely amazing group of people, and so unified. And it is brother upon brother, and they love each other. They might beat the hell out of each other on a Saturday afternoon, but Sunday they're in church together, and they're still brothers. I mean, they are America. And it was so beautiful for me to see them, and then to be able to sit with them. And here's a fun story. 2 of them are from Wyoming. And as things transpired, and I'm talking to him, one gentleman, he's like, hey, couldn't wait to meet you. Shook my hand. I've been watching you, following your story. I know about your son, and whatever. And we had our conversation. About 20 minutes later, he's fighting through the crowd to get to me. Now, mind you, we're right there. We're in the security zone. We're front and center. We're VIP guests, basically. He fought his way up there, bringing his 9-year-old son, because his son also knows Riley's story, and they're from Wyoming, and he couldn't wait to meet me.
Wow.
He's been messaging me now for 2 days, and I finally was able, my story about getting home. Holy hell. I finally messaged him back today. And again, I don't know him. He's from Wyoming. I just met him 2 days ago, but there is a brotherhood and a friendship and a kinship that you just can't. Once it's there, and it is so real and honest and pure. Absolutely beautiful. Fantastic. So they gave their speech. Trump's plane landed. And then for the next hour and a half or so, it was pretty much and the football players, the Steeler football players, they spoke again.
Can't forget about that. So we'll definitely get it. We'll get Hayes more for that.
Sitting right behind him. Yeah, it was pretty cool. But and then when President Trump came and his plane landed, and then he got on stage, it was just all eyes are locked on him. And he started off with a little bit of a history of Arnold Palmer and how Arnold Palmer became to be the golfer that he is. Why he bought that golf course. Arnold Palmer bought that golf course, which is where the airport is as well. But he gave a little bit of history of who Arnold Palmer was, his background, how hardworking he was, how hardworking his dad was. And it was just such a beautiful segue into where we are as America and what is important. And if you get a chance, watch his speech from start to finish, because it really is beautiful. You get a little bit of history about Arnold Palmer, and everybody knows who he is and what an amazing golfer he was. But there's a backstory to that just ties right into where America is and where America needs to remain and become again, versus the direction it could go, given the wrong outcome on November 6th.
No, that we need staying positive in Texas. Early voting is today. We are approximately, I was down to the hours there, just shy of 14 days out. And so the most important 2 weeks are
Yes.
upon us. And within those 2 weeks and the message and the speech that you intended to give, what is in that speech that you really want to make sure that those that are paying attention right now understand? And then from there, your relationship and being with Trump at that moment, after having been, I call it a attack in the media of what happened in regards to the families originally who spoke up. And anybody that doesn't know this, go look at Patriots Inside the Wire, whatever platform you want to look at. I'm going to tell you to go to YouTube right now, but if you just want to listen, we're out there. It's just a podcast, but you can find the information. So what we do know is that on your own choice, this is a choice that we get to make here in America. And that choice was made by you and the other families for multiple things that have gone on. And when you got there and you got to meet everyone, and it's funny, the song and the shirt were your things, and then signing that hat, I'm like, dang it, I should have given him a hat. But we'll get a hold of him. But we want to make sure, like, that personal connection, that that some of us know, that is because of one of the worst things in the world that can happen. How does an individual react when they are around you? And then from there, still includes and says this is not a campaign thing at all. Number one, you have to deal with the line there, peeps. This is not a campaign thing. This is all about taking care of the people who say, no, we want to speak up now because, our rights and, well, for basically our children who are no longer here, those rights that are given to us are based on the ultimate sacrifice, unfortunately, of people's family. And so we have to say here tonight on the mothers and fathers of your service members, and on the screen, a Border Patrol agent also killed before Title 42 expired. But when you got to go there, and we've got 2 weeks here, we're down to the wire. So Monday and Wednesday, we're going to be doing live Monday, Wednesday. Wednesday is about a really big event, a really big hike. She does a lot with that. And then what we'll do is there at the end, like we do, our own kind of wrap up roundtable, like right now. We'll talk about more. And then each Monday. And if we need to, we've got several shows set up for ongoing until we can hit the 6th, literally. So what we need to do is grow the accounts, because we have all the information, we have all of that, but we chose to leave a station literally that was not supportive of Gold Star families, literally families that aren't here. And I love how they support veterans, but there's a couple of areas where, you just feel like, too, it's like you just don't fit anymore.
Yep.
So that's the best way for me to put it. I'm not saying someone is other. I'm saying it's just not.
You just don't feel.
No. And I also cannot be told, now listen, the worst thing in the world's already happened to me. So don't come tell me not to do something. That's like saying, go do it, Tracy. So as soon as you do that, or as soon as I see something going on, whether it's our elderly, whether it's multiple things, I definitely will react. And especially now. So what I have to focus on is I can say those words that I am allowed to say, because taking that oath, foreign and domestic, was done by a kid, my son, who isn't here. And so the voice for the voiceless is now left to the parents. And as their parents, I said, go to hell. I can say whatever I want and when I want, and I'll be damned if you're going to tell me what I can and cannot do in this country right now. So now be smart, everybody, when you're listening out there. I'm not telling you to do anything that goes against, we have laws for a reason. We need a few others.
Law and order.
Law and order has to be there. Come on. And I know that I look at it like this. It's like common sense, street sense, and book smarts. That's all different. And the way that I grew up, if you didn't have both of those with your knowledge that you can learn, you're in trouble.
Going to survive.
You won't survive. And so I didn't know another world. My world is you stand up, you get up, you get the information, and you just keep going. There wasn't a moment to sit down and go, oh, wait a minute. I can't, I'm tired. I literally just had this happen to me where it was said to me, I'm having a quarter life crisis. And I literally had to say, what is a quarter life crisis? And I've heard, the jokes out there about, life crisis when you hit a certain age. But I'm like, what is a quarter life crisis? And it was, well, I'm finally hitting that quarter mark in life. And I'm like, do you mean age? Do you mean to tell me? And they're like, well, yeah, what about you? And I said, oh my God, between kids, work, school, drop, go, eat, pay a bill, have a roof, make sure there's something to eat. That's my jingle right there. So
life is a continual crisis, for crying out loud.
There was no, wait, I'm having a life situation. Now, I know that people do, and that's fine. I say call 988. You don't need to call me for that. I'm not the right person for it. We do have a lot of resources and information that we like to give out with our information here with the show. We have it not just for military, but for Patriots. But we are here. I see that, Christine. Thank you. But we are here on Patriots Inside the Wire with Jim McCollum, who is part of Patriots Inside the Wire. So it is not just Tracy. It is Jim. And you can find us. And Jim just got back from 48 hours staying up to go to Pennsylvania and speak, and met the steelworkers along with the jingle gentleman that I like my jingle. I don't have to play it back. Not that I don't like his. It's just that that wouldn't sound too good coming out of me right now. So that's a good thing, Jim. You see where we get the balance here. It's like, hold on, let me get a hold of Jim, and he can help you remember that part. But listen, if you Google that, I'm telling you, not only have I received texts, messages, literally inside the station, I've got them on my phone, and that's why I've turned on. We'll figure you out Twitter next time in regards to this, but Wednesday and Monday. So Monday, you're going to get the semantics of Tracy and Jim with the full truth. And if you don't want to watch it, don't watch it. If you do, keep watching, share it, grow it, build it. The sponsors will come. Patriot Fest is something that is coming, as well as a UFC wrestling. It's interesting, Jim, because we've been talking about this, and our head of security down there of Patriot Fest is going to be music with your different Patriot resources set up, and then an octagon match, and these competitions of the worst tattoo ever, and then the 3 lineup bands, and then right, and then you've got I
got a couple of those.
You got the main person that's going to sing. So Patriot Fest is something that we want to get out everywhere. It is going to start probably where I'm at, Jim. So you'll end up coming down this way.
Absolutely.
That all takes the station I was at had plenty of money and sponsors and all of that. So this is about the people. This is going to be done by the people, and we will be pulling that off. But we're not going to tell you yet as far as the other platform we just added. So not only are we a podcast, we're not just on Facebook, people, but I am okay with anybody that's out there spreading information. I'm just letting you know that right now on this show, it is literally a broadcast that we pay into on purpose so that we have our time, and then we have multiple channels. We have, of course, every social media you can think of. The only one interesting is TikTok. You do have to have so many followers in order for me to add it into the station. So everybody that's listening right now, if you want to see this, and Jim, I know you've been on, I had gotten off for a little while. I've been so busy working that's what has to be done. And honestly, it needs to be done
and share it. Absolutely.
Yeah,
share it.
I'll try to clip it out too, but the point of this goes back to you ending up in Pennsylvania, not sleeping for 2 days, and then having to speak. Did you want to read your speech, or do you want to throw out an artist, music? I'd like to find a way for you to say your piece to anyone out there listening in regards to showing up in Pennsylvania and wanting to give those words of wisdom by you. What are those words, Jim, you want everyone to remember?
A couple of things I would like to say. You hit something so profound, and the other Gold Star families I was with, and we have said this repeatedly, and it is so true. And nobody who hasn't experienced what we have will ever comprehend what you just said. You can't hurt me. No matter what you do, you cannot hurt me. We have lost a child, and we have lost children that were in the military, and in many instances in the most horrific way you can freaking imagine. So whatever you think your words are going to do, or whatever you think is going to hurt me, get in line. I almost cussed there, but I'm not going to. Get in line, because you can't hurt us. We've been hurt, and we are the most resilient. Gold Star families are the most resilient people on the planet, because we have to be. Almost 99.9% of the time, there is another child involved. There's a spouse involved. There's a family involved with us after that loss, where you still have to take care of business. You still have to put your boots on. Whether you want to or not, you still have to move forward. You got two choices. You either curl up and just give up, or you pull your boots on and you go forward. And I love that you said that, because it is so true and it is so powerful. But for people who haven't experienced it, they will never comprehend that part of our lives. And it's good and it's bad and it's ugly, all rolled into one. We all have our days that are awesome, and we're taking on the world. We go to bed at night, we write down a list of what we're going to conquer tomorrow. Then tomorrow comes, it's all you can do to put your boots on the next day. And it is a never ending cycle, and you don't know what's the catalyst for what is my day going to look like tomorrow. Every night you go to bed with the best of intentions, and you are in control of this, and life is good. And we're going to do this, one, for ourselves, two, in honor of our kids, but you never know what you're going to get when the sun rises the next morning and how that's going to look. So it is a constant battle every day as to what life looks like. But look at us. We're here. We're still here. You've been here much longer in this situation than I have, but you're still fighting the good fight, and you're still doing the good thing, and you're still making a positive influence and sharing a positive message, where we could be the most cynical, negative people on the planet, but for whatever reason, we're not. We still love everybody, accept everybody, and we want better, which is an absolutely amazing thing. And I love so much that you said that. As you said it, I got the little goosebumps, because Darren and I were just talking. Darren and Alicia and I were just talking about this 2 days ago. It's amazing. We didn't choose this. We didn't want this. This is not a club we wanted to join by any means. But to hear you say it was so much more beautiful than the way that we have said it. Because we're still kind of in a condescending, bitchy. It's like, yeah, go ahead, mess with me, because we've dealt with this. But you said it. It was so articulate, and so just the pureness of how you said it. We said the same words, but yours was much better than us.
Oh, it was nicer. Was it nicer?
When we said it.
I just
No,
say that, let's go, because the worst thing in the world's already happened. So what
absolutely.
else can we do here? All we can do is move forward, focus on the positive, try to make a difference. And that means we get up, we vote, we pay attention. We don't go based on one ad. We don't watch a commercial. We do
Where
not.
can we make that positive change that's going to make the
well,
world better?
It's voting right now. So we're heavily focused on that. We're not one-sided either. So if someone else, I'm saying the show, Patriots Inside the Wire, if you are a patriot and you feel like you want to come in and say, well, here's my other side of that coin. Hey, we're quick to tell you respect is there. We can agree, or let's just agree to disagree.
And we can have that conversation.
Nice.
We don't have to pit one side against the other, which is such a shame as that is where we're at. And I do have to say this, and I believe this wholeheartedly, there's only one side pitting everybody against the other. I have not met anybody in my circle as I've traveled in the last 3 years. The conservative side of things, we will welcome that conversation. We will have that conversation. Maybe I'm missing something, but let's at least speak. But when you're not even allowed to speak, or you're just wrong because you support one candidate over another, you're like, all right, well, you lost me right there, because you're not even willing to have that dialogue to let's balance this out. Here's what you believe. Here's what I believe. Let's find common ground. When they're refusing to give you common ground, that's a no-go for me. One, you're not going to, like you said, you're not going to tell me what I'm going to think or what I'm going to believe or how I'm going to vote. But if you're not even willing to have that conversation, well, you pretty much just burnt that bridge, and to hell with you. You want to come back? I'll send you a life vest or a raft, and you can, row your way back to me. But no, you can't dictate to me how I'm supposed to feel. And unfortunately, that's where we're at in this political atmosphere, is you're one side or the other, but it's only one side that's pitting everybody against the other, which is unfortunate.
It is unfortunate. We lost a lot of our lighting and everything, but I was like, the words are coming out. It's good. I've still got you on there live, which meant I took away some of my stuff. So yeah, the lighting literally fell on me in between all that. So that's why y'all see me like grabbing. It's like, just keep going, keep talking. It's all good. We got this. So as you've experienced in person, and you hand a cowboy hat, now you can see, you hand that to him, to Trump, and you ask him to sign your hat. Was there a response? Like,
before I even got up to him, he's obviously recognized me and has seen me a few times. That grin, and he's got the most heartwarming. It's like you're just meeting your buddies for a football game or a poker night or whatever. He's just got that grin. He kind of tilted his head back, gave me that little half nod, and smiled. And I shook his hand. And this time was very rushed. Usually we get a minute or two to talk to him and have a conversation or whatever. But this time, and I don't know where he was headed the next morning, but no, they told us, no, you get in, you get out. Generally, it's the whole group of us can go in and interact with him. No, this was all individual. You get in, you get out, and away you go. And again, they were just like a cattle prod. You go. So I saw him. Actually, I had another hat, and I asked him if he would sign it. And then he said, "Where would you like me to sign it?" So he did. And then I gave him my hat, and there it is again. And I am so proud of that. He signed it, shook my hand, said, "Hope to see you again soon." And that was about the extent of it this time. So now I'm really upset at my granddaughter, because I think I told you when we were in Utah, we got some time with him, and he heard my 4-year-old granddaughter was going to be there. So he basically, me, Royce, and Asher's mom, Cheyenne, he did his thing, and he was very nice to us. He spent all his time with my granddaughter. So she stole my thunder, a couple of weeks ago. It's like, man, but no, he is always And I never expect anything from him, for crying out loud. That guy is so busy, and he does more in a day than I can even fathom of doing, and all his traveling and the places he is, and he's here and he's there, and he just always looks so in control of everything that he's doing. So every opportunity I get, whether it's a handshake or a wave, I don't care. That acknowledgement is enough for me. I am just so happy that I am able to support him. And if there's anything I can do for him, absolutely. I spent more time talking to Chris LaSavita, one of his co-campaign chairmen. I met Chris in Philadelphia probably a month and a half ago. It was before the RNC, a week or two before the RNC. And I've been dying to come across him again. And I actually did get to spend time on the tarmac with Chris this time, which was for me was fascinating because he's also a Marine. He's a wounded Marine. Got a beautiful or horrific, however you want to look at it, but he's got a very interesting backstory. So it was very nice to come across him again. And then I met several people from the Philadelphia area that I met before that they recognized me. So I was able to engage in them. So every moment that I was not able to spend with Donald Trump himself, I was able to spend it with people in that circle, which was very important to me because these are people it's like, man, I hope I get to see them again. Things of that nature. And I met some new politicians. I met some other guys. Hopefully they do reach out to me. I gave them my contact information and stuff. And they're asking where we're going to go after the election. What are our plans? What are our intentions? What do we see the future looking like? And I had some fantastic conversations there. So, and basically all I told him was like, whatever he needs from us, whatever he needs from me for sure. And me and my family, he's got it, win or lose, whatever we can do. But just beautiful conversations and a lot of people from the Trump campaign, people from the Pittsburgh area and people from the Philadelphia area. And then Byron Donalds, congressman from Florida.
Oh,
he sat
right. Byron. Yeah, he's great.
So I didn't talk to him while I was sitting in front of me because he's listening to the speech and I didn't want to bug him or anything, but I did get to talk to him, out towards the tent. And I spent a good amount of time talking to him. I'm a big fan of his and
I am too.
I really admire that guy. So, and we talked
I did too. Byron,
and he was fantastic.
Yeah. Byron will get his information out, and I like that he listens to both sides of that coin and then comes back with the actual stats and the information, which is what we're trying to say here is I'm not going to sit and have like a debate back and forth. Very interesting.
He brings the receipts.
TikTok and our lighting keeps falling at us. It's like trying to make us crash tonight. And I'm like, I'm going to keep it up. If you could only see what's been going on behind the scenes over here, I'm like, okay, I've got it. Keep talking. So you can keep throwing whatever you want out. And then what's going to come back is a lot more gusto. And so Linda, thank you. So literally we had like the whole lighting, everything was crashing down at me.
Falling down.
Talking. Yeah. And I'm like, hold on a minute. So yeah, you're on the phone through TikTok. We are on our natural platforms though. On the actual show, we're hitting it about 2 hours. I get a lot of my communication and what I call friendships of information through actual people who are actually working on things, literally. And we will have part of his campaign team on the 30th. So we actually will on the 30th. We have something coming. November 4th, we have two individuals that are around. When you talk about Byron, we've got two females that are coming.
Nice.
That you need to hear about. Yes, November 4th and 6th. So November 4th and the 6th. Different individuals, although one will stay the same because she's like, I'll be there before and I'll be there after. So being able to have this individual, I worked on 10 different campaigns just trying to help. No, I did not get paid. I'm not a politician. I am a mother that has a resume that did have experience working in different things, although you can't tell it tonight from the broadcast with everything crashing. It just means when you're at a station, they buy all that stuff. So I've got what I've got, and I've bought it all, and I'm like, yeah, these brands aren't working out for me. So if you want to reach out and say, hey, this brand works better or that one, I'm not going to be buying more equipment, more anything, but we've paid our dues not only in airtime, we've paid our dues in equipment, you name it, but we've also, unfortunately, we have to go day to day without a piece of us. It's like it's been ripped away from us, and that is our child. So you have Riley, Sergeant Two-Step. That's what you'll see behind me, like all over, just different things for a certain reason that they're there. We do have American Hat Company to thank. We may not get paid, but we have our cowboy hats and cowgirls. So it makes me immediately go to Cowgirls Don't Cry. I won't be singing anytime soon, but that will come too, ironically, Jen. So with Patriots. So as you're leaving, how did this go? Like you're in a crowd of all of the people of the Secret Service, and you're getting your hat signed. Where the heck did you go after that?
Once I got my hat signed, and I think there were 3 parents behind me, and then we couldn't go anywhere. We were stuck there. We couldn't go back to our seats. We couldn't do anything for security reasons. We could not leave until his plane took off. So we got to see him board his plane and all that. And it takes a while to get the plane ready and to take off. But I did film the plane taking, go taxiing out to the runway. And then I did get, I think, 13 seconds or so of it when it took off. And then after that, then we could, it was, like I said, 1.5 miles, 2 miles back to where we actually parked our vehicles. We didn't get the golf cart ride back. We got a golf cart ride in, but the golf carts were gone by then. So we had to just walk. But at that point, there were only maybe 100 of us left at the entire event. And most of those were campaign workers and media personalities and things like that. And it's going to sound egotistical or whatever, boisterous, but no, there were so many people that wanted to speak with me that they hung out. So I just kept, anybody that wanted to talk to me, absolutely, I'll shake your hand and give you a Riley card and I'll have that conversation. And I was actually getting worried that the guys were going to leave me. The people I rode with, it's like, they're going to get pissed and they're just going to leave me and I'm going to have to fend for myself to get back. But I still entertained everybody that wanted to talk to me. And I was at the where I got the shirt right there. There's a little gate that cuts off through the grass. And I just kind of started veering there. And this young woman, I'm going to say she was probably 19 or 20 years old. She stopped me. She was not going to let me go through that gate. And she was there with her mother, and I'm assuming probably her grandmother. And she just asked me, "Sir, can I please get a picture of you? I know all about Riley. I know about you, and you did such a good job." And she's, just very appreciative of being there. I ended up, for 15 minutes, I'm sitting there talking to her and her mom. And like I said, I assume her grandmother, but she's going into the military. She just can't figure out what branch she wants to go into. She's leaning Marines and Army. Well, duh, that's a no brainer for me. It's like, you got to go Marines.
Hold up.
I know. And I was thinking the very thing. All the Marine families that I know, they're like, no, go Army. And so I just kind of was kidding her. It's like, well, duh, you got to go Marine.
It depends on your MOS. MOS means your job in the military. For anyone out there who's not up on those, the acronyms, the military, 3 letters is all over the board. But Army, RLTW, I changed that one to MLTW. Moms lead the way. That's the point I was at after getting the knock on my door. I was like, you're not leading me anywhere. At this point, I'm going to have to lead this whole way. So, well, honestly, when he was in, I still was very, very involved. So I
And
encourage
again,
you.
if that young woman or her mom or grandma, if they're watching, again, I gave them my contact information, but I never got any in return. I'm
Yeah.
getting better at this kind of, but I'm still
Just
really
start
bad at it.
saying, just say, watch Patriots Inside the Wire. Or if they go to our accounts, they'll see you literally, even
No,
your past.
exactly. But just
past
a
time
wonderful
talk.
young lady. Her mom was fantastic. And I probably spent a good 10, 15 minutes with them. And then I ended up getting pictures with her. I got pictures with mom, and then we got pictures all together. And it was such a beautiful, just out of the blue. I mean, it's dark at that point. The lights are all shutting off, but she was not going to leave until she got a chance to speak with me and give me her piece and her appreciation of Riley. But then she wanted to talk to me. So, I mean, it was absolutely priceless. And then I got to the vehicle, and all the people that I thought were going to leave me, they weren't even back yet. They were still over in the tent shopping. So I had more time to waste. So no, it was good. It was good.
All you remember next time, just say Patriots Inside the Wire. Just say, go look up Patriots Inside the Wire. You'll find me easily. You'll find me talking, and you get an email through there. It's all
Absolutely.
there. The website's there, and we are rebuilding right now. So there's going to be a lot more information. There's going to be news that we're going to be coming out with. I'm going to say, give me 2 weeks before we're going to let that one out of what we're doing. So as far as having been a veteran in the broadcast world, the radio world, the TV stations, whether it's music, whether it's reporting, whether it's literally writing for the Metropolitan, but these are things that I have done. These are things that before my life was turned upside down, first by cancer, and then the knock at my door is what I call it, the knock. And you're kind of curled up in the corner of the couch is where I was, but and then I had to go into fight mode because, again, I'm going to say this statistically, I'm telling you right now, the number of our service members that are dying on U.S. soil and being killed. I don't mean just 22 a day. I do want you to focus on our veterans. I do want you to focus on taking care of our patriots. That's our law enforcement, our firefighters. And that's why it says patriots up there. And our people, the patriotism behind the people, behind the companies. Like Nicole Remini, who was just on talking about an American company, a group of ranchers, a group of wellness individuals. There is a company. It's been around forever. Go find that show. She left us a note in there. So if you look her up on Instagram, Nicole Remini, Nicole B. Remini.
Fairly easily on YouTube as well. My daughter is finally
find her on YouTube, but even on her show,
she found our episode on YouTube.
That's easy to do. Yeah. But if you're someone who likes to just listen to a podcast, we're also out there on every podcast channel you can think of. So the reason we get to do this is because of deciding that we're going to make that choice. Nobody else is going to make it for us. So we're about in 2 hours. So you finally left and you finally got out of the crowd, and I just know that you were like between trying to get home and being up and spending time with people and being able to go do that and then being able to speak. Jim, I was not able to find it in media anywhere when you spoke. So I was like, well, we are going to make sure that tonight, whatever it is that you'd like to say, that you get to say that. So and then we'll cut to a veteran artist that we have, and we'll end up winding down here. But is there anything you'd like to say? And remember, Jim's going to be here. He's not going away.
A couple of things real quick. My speech, again, Royce found it on YouTube, I think, fairly quickly.
Okay.
So you can find it on there. And don't hold it against me, because I did. You're going to see the moment I caught eyes with the steel worker that I was talking about, because you just see me all of a sudden go blank. I took my glasses off. It's like, oh my goodness. But no, my speech was pretty good. And then we left the airport and ended up going to a little restaurant and ended up running into 4 young military service members. And Alicia Lopez, Hunter's mom, she secretly was buying these kids some drinks. And then they finally caught on to it. It was our table that was buying them the drinks. Fantastic young kids. The one kid had a U.S. Marine shirt on. It's like, yeah. And I mean, when they're in the service.
Oh, yeah.
So it was fantastic. So we had dinner. It was like an hour and a half back to the hotel. And by the time we got done, I had like 2 hours before I had to be at the airport to go through security. So it's like, well, I'm not going to sleep. So ended up going to the airport, getting on the plane, flew from Pittsburgh to Atlanta to Rock Springs, or Salt Lake, drove from Salt Lake to Rock Springs, picked up my daughter, took her halfway across the state of Wyoming to go pick up her semi, and then had to drive back. I think I got home last night at about 2:30.
Wow.
I thought I would sleep until at least noon today. Hell no, 6 o'clock in the morning, I'm up, and it's just life is normal. So I am definitely sleeping well tonight because I can feel my eyes are getting a little bit heavy. Like
The adrenaline is coming out. You're starting to relax.
Yeah.
And I'm just glad that you were able to be there. I am glad that this whole stand did not crush on me tonight and we were able to get everything out. Not only that, you've got a jingle here on the show now. So production will be able to look out for, and security there with the Patriots head of security. They can look out for anything coming our way, because what we say is be kind. This is a platform for the people, by the people, and the people who have literally given their blood in order to get to you and say, no, your rights, your freedoms, the Constitution matter as people, and we, the people, can do something about it. Stop bickering, stop the chaotic. Don't look at your TV and watch something and decide I'm going to go vote because of this.
Yep.
There is a topic, Jim, that we've brought up, and I get it as a female. Number one, do not ever vote for someone just because it's a first time that we'll have a female. Listen, there will be a female, not right now. That one's already been in there.
In my lifetime, there is going to be a female president.
There will, but right now,
but
we've
this is
already
not
had a vice president female, and I didn't see any action. So the border czar, whatever you want to call it, I can tell you I've been very, very focused on that area. And when we get the individuals that are part from the team, and then we'll get some individuals working on Congress, and we've had people that are literally working within the border. And then I've already done, you and I both, Javier Vega Jr., which, remember, is close to me and connected. So that was tough, to get. People have to understand that go find that episode is what you need to do. Find the episode. So you have a family member close related to me that still can't get out certain things. And I'm looking just like I would for you, Jim. And I'd say, you need me to tell it. And that's what happened is we recognize when one might be at a moment of, I need a break. Like I've been doing this for like 12 years. Not me personally. I'm talking about what's happening with the border. But working on legislation with me is my behind the scenes, everything to do with that story with Javier Vega Jr. You really need to know it, because not only was he shot and killed, he was a Marine that had to crawl over. His father was shot and he's still here. But the kids were there. They decided to go visit Dad. And it's a horrible, horrible thing. It really is. And see, I get goosebumps because this is all connected to me personally. And then my own son, as Javier is trying to mentor me and get me like okay with every step I had to take, there's a lot I had to do. And there is a lot you can do just as a person when you decide you can approach people. So respectfully and kindly, I don't care if it's the military. I don't care if it's the White House. I don't care where they're at. I can tell you right now, that's what I did. I jumped right up and said, no, this is not how it works. Let me tell you how this works. And this is what we're going to do. So a matter of jumping up. Now I had Javier as the one who would speak in regards to what was going on there at the border, not knowing that unfortunately what happened was going to happen. And so
yep.
It's awful, right? So his mother and I have worked heavy in regards to legislation, especially here around the Texas area, but it's for everywhere. Right now it's for everywhere. This is no more about Title 42 lifting. We had been out there working, but I'll be back in session local, but I better be back federally, because Two-Step Act was kicked out when Trump was kicked out. So that's my own personal opinion right now. And that is the truth. The truth is, if that happens, then thank you. I don't need to keep going from the bottom up. I can get someone in there who noticed it like this. We got an issue. We don't have laws that fall under a certain category because we're missing something that nobody caught. So, and that is because of Patriots. So yes, approach your individuals, approach the people that are running, especially in your local elections. It just blows me away. It's like, I'm going to vote because I like this name, or all because of this, but it just takes a little bit of information, vote 411. There's a lot of information out there. So Votify, if you want to start checking to see if your vote has been received, and it's there. There are a lot of tools out there. But stay involved, and always remember that you can make a difference. And it means use your voice, speak up for those who no longer have that voice. And that's what we're doing. We're getting out true stories, true information. We're truth tellers. So, Jim, we're at that point here at the 9 on Patriots Inside the Wire. We are music is like medicinal for me. So before I had a vocal cord issue, like that's my lane, always has been. That's what works for me. So we have a lot of artists for our show for Patriots Inside the Wire, Jim. I did get a lot of new music that we're not going to do right now, except that to say thank you to Malachi with music. Everybody stay tuned on that. And then Brooks Herring this season. A season is 3 months in the broadcast world, but Brooks Herring has been, no matter what the subject is, no matter what is on the show, here are my songs. And so last week we took a gamble a couple times, and we played something else, and that's fine. For the most part, I want to do that. I have multiple artists here. But for someone who goes out of their way to say, here, I've served, I know what families are that don't have someone to come home. There's some people out there that they don't care that we're talking about politics. We're not a political party. We are not politicians on this show. We are people. And we are people that something has happened to in a tragic way. So, and that led us here today. And that means the musicians, I'll slow down, musicians that we have, we're grateful for them, and we're blessed to have them. So you have a lot of veteran artists, but listen, just like this show, for your veteran artists or Patriots Inside the Wire, go to what area that you like to find your podcast, or if you want to find the video version of the broadcast, and please follow and subscribe. It is free to do that. Make a playlist, and through that playlist, not only will you be doing that for our show, but do it and make a veteran artist music playlist. So keep following Patriots Inside the Wire, and we'll keep featuring different artists that we work with. So tonight, I think we should stick with Brooks Herring. I messaged him and said, hey, we're going to be heavy on the true stories of Jim coming back from Pennsylvania. You're good with this? And he's like, of course I am. I was serving, and this is about people. It is not, he definitely is, not that the others aren't, but it's like, no questions, like y'all do not even have your kids. Like, don't even ask me that. And I'm like, thank you. Thank you. That's Brooks Herring. Brooks like Garth Brooks, Herring like the fish. Brooks Herring, musician, veteran, always supportive. We have many others.
We have
many others. So stay tuned. But for Brooks, you've got Coming Home, The Good Parts, and you've got One Hell of a Woman. We don't need to do One Hell of a Woman, but Coming Home is good. Have you heard that one or The Good Parts? Which one have you not heard, Jim?
I've got all three of them now. So let's do Coming Home again.
Okay.
I like that one.
There you go.
And I have added them to my playlist. So
yeah. And if you're watching us, don't go away. If you're watching the podcast later or you're watching right now, I'll be pulling up some pictures for you during this. Again, this is Brooks Herring. He is a musician and a veteran. You can check him out, add him to the playlist, just like you would for Patriots Inside the Wire. And here we go with the music. Thank you, Jim.
Baby, I won't say a word. I don't want to wake you when I go. Gonna kiss my baby girl. She's gonna miss me, yeah, I know. If I end up gone forever, just know I'll always love you so. I'll go quietly tonight, but soon you'll hear me coming home. You hear me coming home. Some things I don't understand. This isn't everything I'd hoped. I wasn't born to be a fighter, but I'm following my soul. And if I end up gone forever, just know I'll always love you so. I'll go quietly tonight, but soon you'll hear me coming home. You'll hear me coming home. At home, in the morning when you wake, and I'm gone, and I'm half a world away. I'll be back before you know it. See you later, don't lose sleep. You can see me when you're dreaming. I'll be watching quietly. But if I end up gone forever, just know I'll always love you so. I'll go quietly tonight, but soon you'll hear me coming home. You hear me coming.
I'm going to get this down for us really quick. In regards to that song again, that is Brooks Herring. Brooks like Garth Brooks, Herring like the fish. And you are on Patriots Inside the Wire on Monday night live. This will go out as a podcast or tune into YouTube. We'll stick around. We have been about 2.5 hours, Jim, between crashing the lighting and getting your information, and then I can see like you're finally coming down from that whole trip. That sounds amazing. I wish I could have been in the room to hear all of you doing that jingle and just witnessing whatever this dance is. So we'll reach out at some point to figure this out about that artist. But again, the artist tonight that does play Brooks Herring, we want to make sure to give him credit because, you know, these are people that served. These are people that have said here, like, yeah, let's support one another. So we do appreciate that. And Jim, your time, your family, Royce, I mean, Darren, I do appreciate each and every one, and to all the Patriots out there, to everyone who's undecided right now, I just tell you to please get some true information, get the right information, whatever's right for you. I can't sit here at the very end and go, you need to go vote for him because this person, as I lost my son and experienced that nobody else understood what was going on. Nobody else understood that something needed to happen. And then losing a Border Patrol agent before that, both illegal actions, both situations where you got two boys that were brought up to stand up and fight. They were taught this. And, you know, I still have some of that guilt where I'm like, man, I built them to be, but you fight. You go and you do the right thing. And so what we want is to make sure that you go and now do the right thing in honor of and for yourself and the future generations. It is so important. We're down to, is it tomorrow? We're right at about 2 weeks.
Tomorrow's 2 weeks. Well, election day. Yep.
Days, right? So you'll have about 8 to 9 episodes with us. We'll be bringing you different people that will come in. I say don't miss the 30th. That's one. And November 4th. The 30th and the 4th. In between there, we have shows Mondays and Wednesdays. This Wednesday, if you'll tune in, what this lady's been doing for a very long time in the hike, the march, the Baton March, and the team that's with them. She will be on this Wednesday. We go on at 8:15 p.m. Central Standard Time. Jim will be right there. I will be right here. We will not have our studio collapsing on us because if TikTok grows enough, we can add it to our software in the station. But otherwise, I just had to do it for Jim because of the jingle, because of the song. It is under Patriots Inside The Wire tonight. You can hear Jim actually singing the jingle. So we thank you for that. We thank you for our production team that's always there. Every one of us, not a single one of us, get a penny out of this. As a matter of fact, you don't want to know how much I took out of my pocket today. Patriots head of security that we have, they do a lot as well. Not just security, but yes, they do cyber security and they can do on location security. So we just want to remind everyone that it's about the people. It's for all of us. You know, don't decide, well, I can't decide, so I'm not going to vote. That one vote, that second vote, whatever that might be, I'm telling you, you don't want to go, man, I should have gone. So I'm encouraging you to please get out there and vote. So I'm actually going to do early voting tomorrow, and it's because I stay on top of my area. Jim, I know exactly what you're talking about when you talk about should you do early, should you do voting day because of what's going on out there in regards to voting. Is it just going to be a situation where the numbers are coming in, or is this going to be a rigged deal? So there is a lot going on out there that we can collect now with our, man, listen, every one of us out there on social media, on any platform, even us in the station, because we're allowing right now, I'm going through my system for TikTok, but that's what I leave with. And I say, all right, son, we did another Sergeant Two-Step, my boy, my children here, they are affected too. I'm really big about the siblings. We cannot forget about the siblings, those that are currently still active duty, our veterans leading the way. Veterans Day is coming up, and I know that we're all talking about voting. we will not let that be overshadowing the fact that Veterans Day is coming. We will have an episode. It's already geared to go. So stand by. Join us on Wednesday night for Patriots Inside the Wire. Don't go anywhere. We're going to roll you out of here. And we had a long one tonight, but well worth it to hear you sing and I'm putting your head right there. So Jim, right there, just educated me on a jingle that is out there. We've been grateful to have you. Stand by.
Thank you for watching another episode of Patriots Inside the Wire, hosted by Gold Star Mom, Tracy Two-Step. Help us broaden our reach. Like, subscribe, and share.